Welcome to Destination San Diego, brought to you by Cox Communications and the San Diego Tourism Authority. Whether you're visiting for the first time or you're a native, it's easy to see that San Diego is pretty close to paradise. Boasting perpetually sunny skies, a majestic coastline, and picturesque mountains, San Diego's regions are so unique and diverse there are plenty of places to discover something new. Always bustling with activity, Mission Valley is an epicenter of dining, shopping, and entertainment, with plenty of restaurants, retail malls, movie theaters, and golf. And if you're looking for a bit of history, you can visit the place that gives Mission Valley its name. San Diego's Mission Valley has a lot to offer. It's home to several popular malls, including Fashion Valley, where you'll find high-end stores and designer names. But shopping isn't the only reason to visit Mission Valley. The area is also a destination for wilderness, wildlife, and art. Mission Valley is a great place to discover San Diego's heritage. Join me for a tour to learn more about the hidden treasures of Mission Valley. A visit to Mission Trails Regional Park is a great way to start the day. This park has tons to offer visitors. Here, you can bike or hike more than 40 miles of trails, go boating on Lake Murray, picnic at Kumeyaay Lake, and much more. There's plenty to see just at the visitor center. The center features exhibits on the park as well as its native inhabitants, the Kumeyaay Indians. Let's talk with Linda Hassikas from Mission Trails Regional Park to find out more.
In Mission Trails, we have a wide variety of things to do. We have hiking and biking, equestrian activities, climbing. You can fish in 2 different lakes that we have in the park. You can either hit up a flute concert here, band that'll play inside usually. There's also an opportunity to walk with a trail guide, so you'd be able to learn a lot more about the park that way as well. And that's all free. And those happen every weekend and then on Wednesdays as well. One of the things that's really great is we have trails for all different levels of hiking. So one of the trails we have is wheelchair and stroller accessible, which is great for people with tiny little kids. We also have trails that are very advanced and technical. I mean, people come from international places and out of town. People live right down the street and they haven't been here in forever, and they go, "This is the greatest place. I completely forgot. It's so amazing."
Founded in 1769, the building of this church signaled the beginning of the California Mission Movement. Every July, the Mission is the site of the Festival of the Bells, where all 5 of the church's massive bells ring throughout a weekend filled with games, food, and live entertainment. After viewing the traditional architecture of the Mission, let's check out something more contemporary at the Mission Valley branch of the San Diego Public Library. This modern building houses works of art by local artist Joyce Cutler Shaw, many of which were inspired by the nearby San Diego River. From the viewing deck, you can see a vast expanse of the river valley below, and even see a replica of a local creek on the patio. To get a close-up view of the river, let's trade 4 wheels for 2. Thanks to miles of designated trails along the San Diego River, visitors can discover the natural features of this neighborhood along the way. And during the ride, keep an eye out for the many species of birds that call the San Diego River home. For our final stop in Mission Valley, let's take one more trip back in time. Back in 1966, the Hanalei Hotel was a temple devoted to the tiki culture that was sweeping the nation. The hotel has been updated over the decades, but the current Crowne Plaza Hotel has plenty of tiki touches that speak to the resort's past. And of course, no visit to the Crowne Plaza Hotel would be complete without a festive tiki drink from Island Sushi and Poo Poo Bar. Whether you want to see art and artifacts from the past or simply spend some time enjoying the great outdoors, you'll find something unexpected and intriguing in San Diego's Mission Valley. For more ideas on how to spend the day in Mission Valley, visit our website, 4sd.com, and head to the Destination San Diego page. We'll be right back. Welcome back. San Diego is a high-tech leader and is celebrated as one of the country's smartest cities. But along with our high-tech future, our region also boasts a fascinating past. Much of San Diego's history can be traced to one place, Presidio Hill, overlooking Mission Valley. Jack Gates takes us to the Serra Museum to show us how it's changed over the years.
It stands as a San Diego icon atop Presidio Hill, overlooking Interstates 8 and 5. The Serra Museum is a monument to this state's past.
This is where our recorded history really begins, right here on Presidio Hill.
The museum has always looked out over Mission Valley, and yes, on the left, that's what Mission Valley used to look like. Construction of the Mission-style museum started in 1928.
It was intended to be the Historical Society's first home, a museum, and also a monument to Spanish history.
This is what the grand opening ceremony looked like in 1929 when the Serra Museum opened. We dissolve to the same angle now. The building is almost hidden by grown-up trees. At one time, a large cross stood near the museum, and between then and now, that cross has been relocated. The whole area has a much different appearance. But visitors always have thought the building is something it's not.
Because it was intended to look like a mission, people very often confuse the building with the original mission that was erected here in the 18th century.
San Diego History Center Director David Kahn explains this site was where Father Junipero Serra in 1769 established the first of 9 Spanish missions along the west coast.
This was the first, so we like to claim a primacy there in terms of this is where California's history began.
But after 5 years, Father Serra moved that first mission from this location to a farming location near the San Diego River. Meanwhile, the Presidio Hill location remained a fortress for Spanish troops.
There was a chapel as well as space for the soldiers to live.
After the troops left, decades later, the land was bought up to be preserved as parkland. The park was financed by wealthy San Diegan John Marston.
He was a great civic leader. He ran for mayor. He was involved in city planning.
Marston also financed the museum, named for Father Serra, to display Spanish artifacts. Now, varied exhibits explain the timeline of the area. This site has always been a popular place for visitors and picture-taking, but over the years, other San Diego attractions started to draw crowds, and the Serra Museum attendance began to decline. The Historical Society moved to Balboa Park in the early 80s, but still operates the museum. Because of dwindling attendance, the museum is only open on weekends and for class tours. But the History Center has a master plan to transform the bleak building into a modern-day museum masterpiece.
What we'd like to do is develop some kind of experience that would really knock people's socks off.
Kahn says the plan is to create exhibits that involve visitors with dazzling light and sound shows.
Things have become much more hands-on and interactive, and that kind of experience has not yet been created here at the Serra Museum.
The restoration will bring the museum back to its original glory.
Presidio Hill is where San Diego got started, and so I think it's very important to remind everybody that this is where our community's roots really lie.
A museum that was a piece of history then, and now a piece of history that will get a new life.
What a beautiful spot. The look of the old mission buildings is so iconic. And there's another iconic San Diego building that's home to San Diego's oldest theater, which is still in use today. Jack Gates raises the curtain on the Spreckels Theater, then and now.
The Spreckels building on Broadway near Horton Plaza also houses the historic and ornate Spreckels Theater inside. Back in 1912, the 6-story building was constructed in the heart of downtown, and from then to now, it's taken the love of one family to save and restore the building and theater.
I thought it was important that anything as magnificently conceived as this property be retained.
Jacqueline Littlefield has operated or owned the Spreckels for the past 67 years. When she was 20 years old, she took over the theater from her father, Louis B. Metzger, general manager of Universal Pictures Hollywood. But wait, cut! Let's start at the beginning. This, in 1911, was construction of the Spreckels building downtown. It was built by sugar magnate John Spreckels to coincide with the 1915 Pan American Exposition in Balboa Park. The Spreckels was built to last, and it has.
I can't imagine San Diego without it.
When the theater opened in 1912, it was billed as a vaudeville hippodrome. Live acts performed here on stage then, and now there still is live entertainment on this stage. In the early years, stars like Abbott and Costello, Katharine Hepburn, and Al Jolson performed here. John Philip Sousa conducted his marches. His 1930 signature is on the wall. Italian opera singer Enrico Caruso sang. He left his 1920 signature. When the film era arrived, Metzger and his daughter Jackie came to San Diego.
I was a little kid when we moved here.
In the 30s, with his many film contacts, Metzger took over the theater. Movies were so popular, crowds jammed Broadway to get to the Spreckels. It looks a lot different on Broadway now. But movies were events. For the 1940 film Arizona, cowboys on horses lined Broadway. Now they'd have to dodge traffic and buses. Jacqueline started managing the theater in the 40s.
My vision was to keep going the way it was, but that wasn't the way the film industry felt.
Movie studios started distributing films to only large theater chains. The Spreckels was getting squeezed out and eventually had to close. But later, when Jacqueline took over ownership, she brought back live theater and entertainment. She's renovated the theater several times, but kept all the classic details.
And to me, this is a work of art.
Many offers have come in to buy the building for redevelopment. But her realtor told her developers always wanted to tear down the theater.
He said, would you let them? I said, would I give you a knife to cut a Picasso?
Her stubbornness to keep the theater has caused battles with city redevelopment agencies.
But you refused to sell.
And they don't like me for that.
The Spreckels continues to make money from rents to the hundreds of offices and restaurants in the building. And there still are several live events a month in the 1,400-seat theater. A centennial celebration is already planned to honor history from then to the Spreckels now. And to make sure it will be here for many more years, the owner says she will pass on the theater to her children.
Whether you or your family, the Spreckels will survive.
I think so. I think so.
A lasting heritage for one of San Diego's early attractions then, that remains an historic landmark now.
The Spreckels Theater has an amazing story. We hope you've enjoyed learning a little something about San Diego's history, and we'll be back in a minute to show you more exciting ways to explore San Diego. Welcome back. One of the best ways to explore a new place is to get tips from the locals. From the surf to the city and everywhere in between, our local aficionados can give you the inside scoop on San Diego. Now get ready to get your hands wet as SeaWorld's senior animal trainer, Christy Crater, lets you in on the best up-close animal encounters at the park.
Hi, I'm Aaron Chang.
Hey, I'm Ram Machado.
Hi, I'm Yahya Ling.
Hey, I'm Rick Schwartz.
Hi, I'm Tina Mickelson.
I'm Greg Cook.
Hola, soy Marcela Valladolid.
And we're your guides to the good stuff.
San Diego has the most laid-back, sunny, amazing vibe that you could ever imagine.
A great style of life, a great pace of life.
I wake up every day and I open my blinds to see the ocean, and I just go, wow, it's an amazing place.
People are very warm, very caring, and they are open-minded.
Everyone is very accepting, and it's not what you look like, It's how friendly you are, and that's the vibe of San Diego. That's why I love it here.
Vitamin D is really important to being happy.
This is January.
It's very easy to find inspiration in a place as beautiful and as laid back and as perfect as this.
You know, we have such a beautiful beach. You have some of the great music, great culture and museum, and plus more.
I think there's just a little bit for everyone in San Diego.
San Diego is really coming of age. There's so many things going on here. It's now very difficult to keep abreast of everything.
I get to discover new, really cool stuff every day.
It depends on what you like around here. That's so beautiful that you can have the choice.
Yeah, well, look around, man. There's like people walking, running, biking. We have so much to offer, and people are so active and alive and out there doing it. San Diego's happy, and happiness is contagious.
Hi, I'm Christy Kreider, and I'm your guide to the good stuff. I think what makes SeaWorld such a great place is that we offer you a way to connect with animals in ways that you may never get a chance to in your lifetime. Seeing animals up close, like the killer whales here at our Shamu close-up window. So joining me is the Shamu family. We have Kasaka, which is their mom. Makani's right underneath her. This is Nakai behind me, and Kalia. Here at Dolphin Point, we do a variety of different programs. One of those programs I think is a premier experience not to be missed. It's called the Dolphin Interaction Program. You get to get in the water with a dolphin, like Toby here. So it's a really unique experience where you would actually get to touch her, give her some training signals, and say hi. That's right, just like that. Right when you walk in the park, we have our newest exhibit, which is called Explorer's Reef. You can actually put your hands in an interactive pool. We have some feeder fish that'll come up and check out your fingers and your hands. You can also touch some of our sharks up there. And then when you get hungry, you can join us here at Shamu Stadium for our Dine with Shamu program, which is an up-close and interactive program where you actually get to sit poolside and learn about our Shamu family. I think it's so amazing that San Diego has all of these different options for you. You kind of have a little bit of everything at your fingertips. Mission Bay, for example, is a great place. You can rent paddle boards, you can do stand-up paddle boarding. You can also rent beach cruisers and ride around the bay. It's a really beautiful and scenic bike ride. One of the things that I don't think a lot of people take advantage of here in San Diego is Kate Sessions Park. It's located in Pacific Beach. You can picnic there. Also, at the end of the day, you can actually see the SeaWorld fireworks from Kate Sessions. So it's kind of a more private family experience. I love hiking, and three of my favorite hikes are Mount Woodson. You head straight up the mountain, so it's a great workout, and you're rewarded by the potato chip. So you can actually walk out onto this potato chip, get some great photos. There's always lots of people there to take photos of you if you want to get a great family shot. I would also suggest Torrey Pines. You can head up Torrey Pines, and then you can actually hike down to the beach. So when you're at the peak of the mountain, you actually have amazing ocean views. And then lastly, also a beginning hike is Cowles Mountain. Again, it's 360 views when you get to the top, but it's a different view of San Diego.
I'm always in awe after a day at SeaWorld. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Destination San Diego. Welcome back. There are all kinds of hidden gems in and around San Diego. Sometimes you just have to know where to look. Jack Gates takes us out to East County where we find a historic gorilla. It's a part of Alpine's history that you may have never heard.
Alpine is, like it sounds, all quaint and quiet east of San Diego up in the Cuyamaca Mountains. Back in 1951, the center of this tiny town looked like this. Here's that same shot now. Some of those buildings remain in this rural small town.
Alpine is sort of a refuge from the hustle and bustle down the hill.
But this refuge is full of history. Carol Morrison says one story starts outside the Alpine Historical Society and Museum, where she is president. In the trees overlooking the buildings, the alpine gorilla greets visitors.
I'll say, there's a gorilla in the tree, and they'll look up very apprehensively and then see it and go,
We'll explain the gorilla a little later. First, the buzz is about bees, as we explain the Harbison of Harbison Canyon near Alpine. In the 1870s, farmer John Harbison brought bee colonies to the canyon, and Alpine was known as the honey-producing capital of the country.
He had thousands of hives in Harbison Canyon, and he had a whole crew of men that did nothing but take care of the hives for him.
Harbison became the largest producer and shipper of honey in the world. Alpine started to grow in the late 1880s with the Alpine store and stagecoach station.
There really wasn't much here. In 1885, there was only 35 families in the whole area.
But then wealthy importer Benjamin Arnold arrived in the 1880s. Arnold built Ye Alpine Tavern, a hotel and a stage stop. The tavern eventually burned down, and where it stood now stands an apartment complex at Tavern Road and Arnold Way. Arnold also constructed a parsonage for the town minister. That house, here's the match, now a senior residential care facility. The town hall in 1899 was built by Arnold and was the center of activity. That restored building now belongs to the Alpine Women's Club, still used for community events.
This is one of the things that makes Alpine special, is bringing the people together.
In the 1950s, U.S. Highway 80 was built through Alpine, and Alpine grew. Then came Interstate 8 in 1969. Now there are 6 stoplights in Alpine, shopping centers, and housing developments.
From a stagecoach stop to now suburbia, Alpine has grown and changed, but there still is a strong feeling here to keep the past alive.
And here's the gorilla story. For many years, the Alpine Log Cabin Cafe was popular, with a tree growing through the roof. Hanging from the tree, a fiberglass gorilla made by an Alpine company. The gorilla attracted customers, but the cafe was torn down in the 1980s. Now that corner is vacant. The tree, however, remains, and the gorilla was saved.
And when we opened our museum, they asked if we would like to put the gorilla in our trees. And we said, of course. I mean, not every historical museum has a gorilla in their tree.
Part of the charm of Alpine, like the old general store built on Tavern Road in the 1930s. From then, dissolved to now, another reminder of Alpine's past.
We still have a lot of work to do in preserving our history and making people appreciate it. And that's what my goal is.
I'll have to look up the next time I'm in Alpine. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Destination San Diego and that we've inspired you to go exploring in your own backyard. You can see all these stories and get more information on our website, 4sd.com, on the Destination San Diego page. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.